Wait, am I supposed to say the question? You say the question? I just answer the question? Okay, go. So, my name is Cherie Kent. I'm a mom of two. I was originally born in Los Angeles, California. However, I reside in Huntsville, Alabama, and I am a content creator. January 15th, 2012. It was a pretty normal day for me and my kids. We got up, I dropped them off at school. I went to school myself. I stayed at school all day. I would go to work, second shift, and after work, I would go pick my kids up and we would all go home. So we did that. We get home. Um, I got them in the bathtub. I was pretty tired, so I was rushing them to get into bed and go to sleep. And so they did, they gave me a hug, kiss, told me good night. They went to sleep and I went and got in my bed. I would say I probably was asleep a good 10, 15 minutes. And out of nowhere, a loud boom woke me up. I heard the boom and I opened my eyes. And it was a huge flame that came down from the ceiling and came down and touched the tip of my nose and went back up. I looked to the right of me and fire was coming out the walls to the right. Fire was coming out the walls to the left of me. And I jumped up and when I jumped up, I was standing directly in front of my window. I lived on a major road. So when I jumped up and looked out the window, I locked eyes with an older man. He was in a burgundy Camry. And the look on his face, I just kind of, at that moment, I knew it was real. It wasn't a dream. This was something real that was happening. So I decided, let me run to the door, let me run to the front door and open it. And, so then I can just go grab my kids, put each kid on each arm, and we could all run out the door. I get to the door. As soon as I touch it, it's hot. It's boiling hot to the point that my skin starts melting inside of my hand. And so it was a jacket nearby. I picked up the jacket to try to turn the doorknob. The jacket started melting. So at this point, I just was like, well, forget the door. Let me go get my kids. I run to my kids' room and they're nowhere to be found. They are nowhere in this room. I'm screaming and calling for their names, nothing. So I thought, well, maybe they ran past me when I was, trying to get the door open. And so now I'm just running throughout the whole entire apartment, calling their names. They're not responding. Like, I'm panicking. The more I'm running, the darker and darker it's getting in this house. It's getting to the point where now it's pitch black and I still cannot find them. Maybe this all happened like in the span of a good minute or two. And I couldn't find them. I'm running back and forth. And eventually I hear someone say, I already got the kids out. And I kind of stood there for a second to make sure I heard it, and someone screamed outside, "Yeah, I already got the kids out. The kids are at my house." So at that point, I'm thinking, okay, good, my kids are out. Let me get out. But mind you, this apartment is pitch black, um, and I did not know where I was in my apartment. I guess I was running back and forth so much, I had got confused, and I did not know where I was in my apartment. So, I'm just standing there, and I started talking to God, and I said, if it's my time to go, like, God, I'm ready. You can take me. My kids are out. I don't know where I am in this apartment. This is obviously, it's just my time to go. And so I raised my arms up, and I literally said out my mouth, God, you can take me now. And in that very moment, I felt myself lifting up off the ground. Like, my feet were not on the ground. I was literally lifting up off the ground. But instead of going just right up, I went up and over. And I realized now, oh, I'm on somebody's shoulder. And I remember that person saying to me, like, I got you, I got you. And so turns out it was one of my neighbors. So my neighbor picked me up and put me on his shoulder, and he had took me through the window. Another neighbor was standing on the outside of the window, and he pulled me through, and they laid me on the grass. And I just remember being in so much pain. Honestly, the worst pain I have ever been in my life. Like, imagine a burning sensation all over your body, nonstop, on level 10, and it's nothing you can do about it. And I started crying, like laying on the grass crying. And I remember telling God, like, make this pain go away. And at that very moment, it started raining, and it was a light rain. So it was, like these light teardrops hitting my body. And I laid there for a little while, maybe a few minutes, until the Hemsey pulled up. And I remember laying there. While I was laying there, I'm still thinking, like, I haven't saw my kids. I don't know where they're at. And also at this time, my hair had melted down on the side of my face. So I could only see out of one of my eyes. And I just remember looking around trying to see, like, where are my kids? I need to physically see my kids. And eventually the Hemsey came. And I remember being in the back of the Hemsey, and I was telling the lady, can we go? Can we go? This hurts. And she kept saying, no, we have to wait a little while. And I was like, well, where are my kids at? And I heard the Hemsey door open, and my kids came in. I heard their little footsteps come in, and they were crying. And I asked them if they were okay, and they said, yes, ma'am, we're fine, we're fine. And a few moments later, I guess it was another Hemsey worker. He came and opened the door, and he was like, hey, y'all want to ride with me? Come ride in the cool ambulance. And they were like, okay. So they got in with him, and mind you, I'm still waiting, and the lady is saying that we can't go yet. But another guy comes in, and I'm assuming he was attempting to put the oxygen mask on my face. And I remember him saying, I don't know where her mouth is. I can't see her mouth. And I said, what? You can't see my mouth? And I don't know if that's when it finally hit me. Like, we had just been in something traumatic, and I just broke down. And right after, another guy came, and he was like, don't worry, baby, this is about to take all the pain away. And a few months later, I woke up. I was at UAB hospital. My doctor had put me into a medically induced coma. I woke up in the hospital, and Basically, it was just like you see it on TV. You know, when you wake up in the hospital and you blank your eyes for a few seconds and realize where you are, and you know the doctors and the nurses are going back and forth. And the very first voice I remember hearing was my grandma's voice, and she was saying, you know, like, I talked to God about you, and I know you and your kids are going to come out of this fine. You know, you're going to be good. You do what you have to do, but y'all are going to be fine. And I went to say yes, ma'am to her, and I couldn't talk at all. And so I shook my head, but even then, or I guess maybe then, I realized that, you know, I started looking down at my body and seeing these bandages and scars and all these machines that I was hooked up to, and just somebody who did not look like myself. Later on, I was told that my trachea had to be removed, which was why I could not talk at that time, and I would have to learn how to do everything over, from walking, talking, feeding myself, bathing myself, running, like you name it. I would have to learn how to do it all over again. During this whole time, I never saw myself. All my mirrors were covered. I never saw what I looked like. One day, I had to go to dressings, and dressings is basically where they take all the bandages off of you, scrub you, and again, it's another unbearable pain, but you have to go through it. My nurse asked me, you know, she was like, just stand up real quick. I'm gonna be real quick. Just hold on to the table. I'm gonna wipe you down, and I'll be done with you. So I'm like, okay. So I'm standing there completely naked, and it happened to be a full length mirror to my left. And I glanced at the mirror, and I said, oh, and my nurses, they all looked up at me and realized that I had just looked at myself. And they all they went to cover the mirror, and they were like, no, 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 don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And I just broke down because the person I was looking at in the mirror wasn't the person I had seen all of my life. You know, I was completely pink. I was completely bald headed, and I had absolutely no color to my skin, no eyebrows, no eyelashes. I just did not know this person that was looking back at me in the mirror. And like after that day, they took me back to my room. I had to get sedated for a few days because like my blood pressure was high, and that just put me into a really deep state of depression. And I like after that day, I became angry. I was angry with my doctors, angry with the nurses. I was just angry, upset, bitter, hurt. One day my nurse comes in and she says, like, come on, I'm about to take you somewhere. And I think if anybody else would have asked me or told me to get up and come somewhere with them, the answer would have been no. But this particular nurse, you know, she just wasn't the type of person you say no to. So I did. I got up, got ready. She put me in the wheelchair, and we go downstairs. In this particular part of the hospital, I had never been to. So we go downstairs, and she sits me in the middle of this room, and she was like, now just take a look around. And as I'm looking around, I'm seeing these people who are missing noses and missing arms, missing legs. Skulls are caved in, and they're just happy. Like everybody's happy, playing sports and laughing and joking over here and smiling over here. Like everybody's happy. And like she bends down and whispers in my ear, you know, most of their um, situations or fires were worse than yours. And you need to realize like just how blessed you are. And in that very moment, I think I kind of made a pact with myself where I would never be ungrateful, or I would never fix my mouth to complain about my scars, or, complain about this new appearance, because it could have been so much worse. Me and my kids could have lost our lives. And just in that moment, just in that moment, I think I realized, like just how much we're loved, just how much God looked over us that night. And I really had nothing to complain about. So turns out my gas explosion, or house fire, actually started because it was a gas pipe up under the apartment that had been leaking for a while. And when I came home that night and cut the heater on, from what I'm told, that's what sparked the gas fire. So for my burn anniversary, I decided to do a photo shoot with Charles Beeson. And this photo shoot was, for me, basically just to celebrate my body, celebrate myself, celebrate my scars, celebrate all this fondness, and, show the world that you can be out here, you can be living life and enjoying your life, even if you're not the beauty norm. So the advice I would give someone who's going through something similar, or maybe just had something traumatic happen to them, is just basically to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You do what you need to do, whatever type of therapy you have to do, you do it. Keep your head down, remain focused on your goal, try your best to have a positive outlook on the whole situation. Know that you were spared, know that there is life after this, and that you will be okay. Just keep going. What's next for me is a whole lot more living, a whole lot of laughter, a whole lot more good days, positive mindset, and waking up every day with a grateful heart, knowing that me and my kids are still here, we're still good. We may look a little different, but we're here. We have a lot more life left within us. So that's the plan, to live life. And last but not least, just a huge thank you to the entire staff at UAB, my doctors, Dr. Thomas and Dr. Pitts, all of my nurses, my techs, the cafeteria staff, anybody who came into our rooms with a positive outlook for us, anybody who said a prayer, anyone who sent the gift, anyone who just genuinely wanted us to make it. I thank you. With the one and the only Charles Beeson. Is your last name Beeson or Benson? I am Cherie Kent, and I am a burn survivor. I'm probably the flyest burn survivor you ever gonna come across. Period.